Diana Chibuka, a journalist from Uganda. I work with Central Broadcasting Services, CBS-FM. I've been in the media for now 23 years. First of all, to be a journalist in Uganda, it's not all that easy. Maybe the same can be like even from other African countries, because the terrain for journalists is not all that flat. But when you come back to our side as female journalists, the challenge comes right from the newsrooms, from the editors that deploy us to the fields to go and work, to the people you work with. There is that kind of belief that a female journalist cannot do anything. They take you to be this kind of fragile, tender. Yet, we work in the same fields with the fellow male journalists. So we face the same challenges, we speak the same languages. When we're in the field, we hustle the same way.
My name is Catherine Ageno. I am the broadcast editor, Nation Media Group Uganda. And the journalism space in Uganda today, especially for the women, it is a tricky one to operate in. One, traditionally, women are regarded as meant for certain spaces. And even if it's within the media, it's report fashion, report about children. There's a certain perception of women in the media. And that's not all. The general environment seems to be a bit hostile right from the newsrooms.
First of all, women live alone in journalism fraternity. Women are seen as weaker creatures, that sometimes they can be wanting a journalist or a reporter to do a certain story, and when a woman or a girl stands up to take on the responsibility, they tend to tell you that you cannot do this, you cannot stand here, you cannot do this.
From within the newsrooms, there are some silent forms of harassment, discrimination against female journalists, and that is really, annoying and painful, because we go to the same journalism schools.
From a news manager's perspective, I know that the numbers of females are lower than the numbers of male journalists in all newsrooms. For instance, in the radio network, we have 10 reporters in Kampala, but most of them are men. And when it comes to deployment of females, because I have a few of them, I also will not want to send them far away. There are some assignments they will not go for by virtue of being female. Although now from the radio network, we have provided training to our female journalists to handle all situations. But sometimes you want to think twice. Do I want to deploy the only girl I have to go and cover a riot? Do I want to send her far away from Kampala, from her home, for a week to go and cover something that is happening far away from home? If she has children, it also comes with responsibilities at home.
One of the things that affect the female journalists, and not only just in Uganda, is the online harassment. And it is so bad that it has become a sort of new form of censorship. Take for instance, and many journalists, female journalists, have actually withdrawn from public discourse because they want to be safe. They feel they're safer that way. Take for instance, I think you all remember the case of Gertrude Witware and what happened to her. It all started from online, Then she was forced to delete her, Twitter account. We remember the attack and the arrest of Joy Bira, the KTN journalist. Then there are also physical attacks on journalists. We're not saying that the men are not attacked, but the female journalist is more vulnerable. Now imagine in a riot situation, and then female journalists are attacked. You're like 50 times or more likely to be affected than their male counterparts, because one, first of all, they're wearing the nature of their dressing as a woman does not may not allow them to probably flee the scene.
I have had complaints about sexual harassment in the newsrooms. It hasn't happened in the newsroom that I preside over, but I've been in different forums where journalists are complaining that they are being harassed by the male counterparts and supervisors. And that is one of the issues that we need to address as news managers.
Sexual harassment even goes to the sources where we pick news from, because some people think that we get a lot of money from the news that we make. So you go to a male source and you need this source, you need this story, and then he tells you, for me to give you my story, you need to do A, B, C, D, and then if you feel you cannot do what he's asking you to do, you leave the story. At times, what happens is that they will tell you to find them in places that a bit, I'll call them awkward. I come to the hotel and then you extend my meeting into your room. But of recent, as a senior in the field, what we are finding out is that sexual harassment is much now into our sisters that are so fresh into the field.
The other thing is female journalists. Sometimes some newsrooms do not have clearly laid out policies in place. For instance, here we're lucky we have a sexual harassment policy which is very clear, and we keep circulating it and sending it out to our staff every now and then. I think even this morning the same document was sent to all of us. And then there are also cases of people still on sexual harassment. Some people may do it without knowing they're actually offending someone. So we try to lay that out very clearly for people.
Another challenge that female journalists face is the low payments. First of all, we all know that journalism is among the profession that pays less, and when it comes to female journalists, our bosses, back in their mind, all they know that women or girls, they have men behind their backs. And so when it comes to paying, you hear them saying that you're a woman, even though I don't pay you, your money is going to pay for you. And we all know that the world we are living in, things really, really change.
Yes, again, as female journalists, we cannot say that we are only and only lamenting. There are those good things. There are those good things that are happening to us as female journalists. First of all, for us to get to know that we are one, it's a very, very big achievement. If you know that you're in a group, for example, like Uganda Human Rights Network for Journalists Uganda, that is HRNJ, we have a female movement that is moving to all regions. And when we meet as female journalists, there is a lot we talk about. There are lots of developments that we talk about. We assist one another, we support one another. That is something good that we are getting from associations as female journalists, and even developing career-wise.